Good morning, everyone. So just to give you a bit of background, Nutshell Creative, we've been established now for 16 years, but we've got a specific side to the business known as Nutshell Trade Services. So we work with printers of all shapes and sizes in two ways, really. One is to create and implement their own marketing material and deliver their marketing activity. And the other is also using our digital services as a white label offering or a transparent partnership. And this is really to broaden and diversify the printer's service portfolio. So today I'm going to talk through a recent campaign built in Market Direct. And originally this just involved print and fulfillment. And I'd like to pose some ideas to you in how you can change this conversation and start to include marketing automation technology in the mix to ultimately help you win more business. So this project originally started out as a sampling campaign for a high-end cosmetic company called Dr. Sturm. And as you can imagine, sampling has been a huge drive over the last year, certainly for online retailers. So when taking an inquiry, a typical conversation would generally go along the lines of something like this. Can I have a cost, please, for 8,000 postcards, including fulfillment and mailing? And the answer would generally be, no problem at all, I'll get the cost over to you shortly. And the transaction, because it is a transaction, continues and the client supplies the PO with all the job details along with the artwork, and away you go delivering what you set out to do. Now, I know I'm being quite literal here and some jobs can be more complex, but you get the idea. So how about you considered changing that conversation? Next slide, please. So how can you start to have a different type of conversation when you take that inquiry? Asking these sorts of questions will really help you understand the broader picture and identify opportunities over and above the printed element. So ask them, what sets their brand apart and what products and services will they be marketing? Who are they targeting? And why will they actually buy from them? So following that different type of conversation, this is what we proposed and built in Market Direct for Dr. Sturm. So initially, a social media post went out and the offer was a sample of some free, very expensive face cream. So it came as no surprise to us and the client that with the right positioning of the creative, that all 8,000 samples were redeemed in 20 minutes. It was incredible. So the simple campaign flow then allowed the user to register their details, as you'll see on the data capture page. This in turn took them to a personalised thank you page, which automated the personalised thank you email, which then resulted in the final piece of direct mail that contained the sample within the envelope. And whilst this is all going on, the data is being beautifully harvested in this data pot, waiting for something else to be done with it. So we then suggested part 2 of the campaign, where we said, okay, once the customer has received or the prospect has received their sample, how can we continue this conversation with them? So we're going to ask them, what did you think of the sample? So we then sent out a personalised email because we've now got the information on this particular prospect that we've captured in the database. And this would take them through to a personalised survey page and again automate a personalised thank you, which in turn personalised the email that was sent through. And then the final part of the campaign journey was a drive to purchase email, which carries a 10% voucher and will ultimately drive the prospect online to make a purchase. So you'll see from the campaign journey there that the conversation from being purely print-led led to one that was a lot more inquisitive, and it allowed the printer to increase their job value from 8,000 to 12,000, so an increase of 50%. And that was using technology to implement the campaign and moving away from just procuring print in isolation and being much, much more integral into the customer's marketing efforts. In addition to that, the client had 5,000 complete new data lines that they'd captured as part of the campaign. And now the printer can have subsequent conversations with Dr. Sturm around what campaigns can they do next? How can they continue the conversation with these prospects, start cross-selling other products, and using this data to market other areas with combined channels, as we've been talking about before. So that's really how the conversation continues and doesn't just work as a one-hit wonder project that has moved from being very transactional to a much more integrated strategic approach with multiple channels.